Hello and welcome to IN158 3D Animation 1 at Butler Community College. This is Module 5, Architectural Modeling. It is important to have reference images to work from when creating almost anything. Google can be a good place to start your search. Always check the usage rights of any images you grab off Google. For the purposes of this tutorial, I won't be creating an exact replica of any of these buildings. I will be using these images as inspiration while creating an original design. As always, I begin by setting the project folder and saving my file. Scale is a major factor in architectural modeling. Using the correct scale will help the final project look and feel more authentic. I will be working in meters. Most game engines work in metric by default, and being consistent will help you avoid issues in the future. To further help with scale, I will be using a biped object. A biped is used for rigging a model in Max. Rigging is the process for creating a control structure for a model, similar to what we did with the dummies and the chess pieces. A biped is found in the Create Systems panel. We will be using it as a reference object to help us manage scale. An average North American male is around 1.75 meters tall. To begin my building, I create a plane with several segments, both width and height. Make sure Edged Faces is turned on in the viewport. In the Create panel, select AEC Extended, then select Walls. When creating walls and windows, accuracy is important. Activate the snapping properties by right-clicking the snap icon in the main toolbar. Select Vertex from the Grid and Snap settings. Activate 2D snapping by clicking the icon in the main toolbar. Notice as I move the cursor, the placement snaps to the vertices on the plane. Create walls by clicking near each vertex where you want to place a corner. When you reach the beginning, Max will ask if you want to weld the point. Confirm this, then right-click twice to exit wall creation mode. Walls are made up of vertices, which mark the corners, segments, which is the wall between two vertices, and the profile. Select segments, then marquee select all the segments in the viewport. Now you can modify properties like height. To add the doors and windows, switch to a top-down viewport, change the display style to wireframe. At this point, I only want the walls, so I'm going to hide the plane, and finally change from perspective to an orthographic or 2D view. In the Create Geometry panel, choose Doors from the drop-down, then select the door you want to use. Before we create the door, turn snapping back on and change from vertex to edge segment. This way, when we create the doors, windows, the depth will snap to the edges of the walls, ensuring they are the correct width. We will need to resize the height of the door from the Modify panel, as the snapping will make the height snap to the top edge. As I create the windows, I use Shift Drag to create instances of the windows on the same walls. An instance is a copy that shares all of its properties with the original. Any changes made to one affect all instances. This part is kind of repetitive, so here's some music. To create the second floor, I copy my original plane, convert it to an editable poly, then use the tools there to remove the polygons I don't need. A shell modifier gives it depth and visibility from both sides. Using the Connect tool, I create and then delete geometry to create the hole in the floor for the stairs. I also used the Stair tool to create a set of stairs, but I forgot to record that part. The Stair tool is located in the drop-down in the Create Geometry panel. Double-click the walls to select the walls and all the windows. This is an example of a parent-child relationship that we learned about when rigging the chess set. I shift-dragged upwards to create a copy of the first floor, then modified the windows. Included in the AEC Extended are railings. Use the Line tool to draw out the path for the railing to follow. Then from the AEC Extended Railings menu, choose Pick Railing Path. There are many options to customize your railings. Very quickly, I modeled a low poly couch and table, and even quicker, decided to import several models from previous projects, which I did by opening the program icon, going to import, then selecting merge from the flyout. When going from one max file to another, it is merge, not import. Doing this demonstrates the need to use consistent scale between projects. I could have saved myself some work. I resize and place the various objects in the building. Now that the building is complete and furnished, let's start texturing. Open the Render Setup dialog box from the main toolbar and change the production renderer to the NVIDIA Mental Ray. Mental Ray is a photorealistic rendering engine that ships with 3ds Max. As such, it is capable of producing high-quality images, but this comes at a cost in render time and lighting setup required over the Quicksilver engine we have used so far. Many of the settings are the same, but there are many new ones as well. We will discuss this in detail in the next video. Now open the Material Editor by pressing M on the keyboard. Browse through the Material Map browser. When using Mental Ray, Max has a library of high-quality textures available to us. These textures include glass, ceramics, different types of metals, as well as what are called arch and design materials, and much more. Here we have the default solid glass material from the Mental Ray library. One of the advantages to using the Mental Ray textures is they will accurately simulate light refracting or bending as it passes through the window. As always, I encourage you to explore everything so as to master 3ds Max. By selecting one window, then opening the quad menu by right-clicking, I can choose Select Similar and select all the windows. Using the help search brings up the help page for the windows. From here I see it takes a multi-sub-object texture and has material IDs already assigned. Back to the material editor, find and create a multi-sub-object material and assign materials to the appropriate slots. Railings and walls work exactly the same way. Back to the AEC Extended category, in the Create panel, there is a foliage option. This allows us to quickly create and manipulate foliage of various kinds. To add life to our scene, we will add animated people using the Populate tool. It is found near the top of the interface in the ribbon. The Populate tool allows us to quickly add animated people to our scene. These people will follow flows which control where they walk. Idle and seating areas can be created as well. Once created, the area's properties can be manipulated via the Modify panel. Once you are satisfied with the settings, click the Simulate button and let Max do its magic. Any changes made after this will require that you re-simulate the flows. That's a lot to absorb, so I think we will stop here. Build and populate your scene this week. Next week, we will look at how to properly light our scene and a few key essentials for the mental ray rendering engine. Have fun and happy modeling.